YouTube Zodiacs, what's good? It's your favorite Gemini, KashDaGemini, and I am back with another video, back with another episode of Cashing Out. This is episode 32. So we kind of hitting shack numbers now, man. It's crazy to think that we went from 1 to 32 in a span of 33 weeks, only missing Thanksgiving, man. So it's pretty cool. We've had some crazy guests, man, along the way. The very first Casual Nerd Problems leading up to Todd Johnson, Milcar Fong, JP Mavinga, Jason the Painter, Victor Garduno. We've had some amazing guests. Without further ado, I got DT Tube in the building, man. What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Not bad, man. Honestly, not bad. I'm ready for like a pre TGIF Friday, so it's almost here. So I'm probably gonna actually start watching Batman the animated cartoon all over again. It's been about 20 years from watching, so I'll see if I remember any scenes. Man,
Very cool.
yeah, man. Haven't actually seen it in like such a long time that we're like I've kind of like forgotten so many things, and I just kind of want to go back and revisit some stuff just to kind of see like, hey, because like sometimes you go back and you try to like actually figure like, do you still hold that same love and joy for something, and sometimes you don't because it holds a special heart in your place, but for that time period, not necessarily for
Hmm.
today. You know what I mean? And that can
Yeah.
be kind of tough from an adult versus a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember just seeing some of my favorite stuff, recently and being like, I like this stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's crazy, man. I actually feel myself opening 21 packs of Pokemon cards. 21 packs of Pokemon cards. And I had like it was cool because it was something like nostalgic, something I hadn't done since like I don't know, fifth grade, sixth grade, whatever it was, man. And I was just like, dude, like as cool as this is, it's not the same joy because you don't have your friends from the schoolyard right there, and you're telling them what you got, what you didn't get, and it was just a different feeling, versus like you go to the local comic book store and you see the kids in there like asking their parents to buy some. I'm like, damn it, I used to be that kid. Oh man! But before we get started, let's say hi, hello to the chat, and we'll get started, man. Casual nerd problems first. What's up, bro? Walton
hey,
Chunky, just the jarhead. Dennis Perez says cast the Gemini and DT, 2 stars of the community in one place. Now this is a great show. Appreciate it, Dennis.
hey, Dennis.
Jedi Chisel. Hey, Brenton, change your name back to Brenton, dude. You watch Doc. Okay, this dude watched Doctor Strange, and he finally found the illustrious sideshow Doctor Strange, and all of a sudden he's Doctor Strange himself, man. This guy here, man. What's going on, Danny Lee? Appreciate you being here, man.
What's up, Danny?
Pudgy, what's going on, man? Elijah Mack, Tone in the building. Appreciate you guys. Toy Quest, what's going on, man? Appreciate you being here. Chris Barton, man. Shout out DCX. How you doing, man? Archangel in the building. Shout out Collective Minds. Appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, man. So just getting started. So I'm gonna take it all the way back from the beginning, man. Just all the way back. A trip down memory lane, if
Ooh.
you will, man. Trip down memory lane. BSC in the building. Appreciate you, man.
Hey.
Um, do you happen to remember your first time going to a local comic book store? Because I got something to say. And I'm kind of embarrassed, but shout out my good friend Danny Lee, man. I went to a local comic book store this year, actually in April, for the very first time in my life. So what was your first time,
Really?
if you remember?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
no, I actually remember it pretty vividly. I think I was about 7 or 8. I was actually, my mom used to drag me to dance class every week, and it was kind of like a love hate thing. I like doing it, but I don't want to be the one kid in my class that goes to dance class every week. So one of the things that got me going back there was that there was a comic book shop just around the corner, and I would walk in there after I guess one of my dance classes and just be like, what is this stuff? And the guy that was running the place kind of explained to me, these are the comic books. If you take care of them and save them, you can put them in these plastic bags and boards, if you take care of it, maybe someday it'll be worth something. So that whole idea of having something that looks cool, has a cool story, and has the possibility to be worth more in the future, really got me. So it got me going
So
back to dance class every week.
so before I get to the dance class, let me just see if I heard you correctly. Your very first time going to a local comic book store, you learned about bags and boards that first time.
Yep, the very first time.
Wow. Okay, because we was showing comic books on stream, and I showed mine. I pulled mine up. Look, this is a free comic book, so y'all don't kill me. All right, I pulled up a comic book. Right, I was holding it, and it had no bag, and it had no board, and everybody gave me. So I'm like, bag and board. What's a bag and board? I had no clue what a bag and board was, man. So I learned that my second time, and I finally go back. I'm like, can you bag and board this? They're like, yeah, man, we'll bag and board it. 25 cents if it's not already bagged and board. All right, cool. So now I know what bag and board is, man. You know.
I mean, I had comic books prior to that. That was my actual first time going into a specialty shop. Prior to that, it was just pulling them off of the spinners, or grandma giving it to us for to keep us busy, that kind of thing. But that was you know Porky Pig or Donald Duck, that kind of stuff. Archie.
So, what was your very first taste of of any sort of character? What was the first character that you actually kind of like you gravitated towards?
Um, you know, I the first book I picked up was Marvel was doing this thing called the New Universe, and it was like a series of, I guess, new spin-off characters, and it wasn't very good, to be honest. I don't think it went very far, but they were all like number one issues, so that the guy was talking me into picking up number one issues, and that's the collector's item. So yeah, those characters didn't do too much for me, but I remember Amazing Spider-Man, probably the very first character that I kind of got into.
Hmm.
Later on, it was like Punisher, Wolverine. So
Okay, so would you say like Wolverine is one of your favorite characters?
yeah, no, definitely.
Cool, man. Cool. Now I gotta ask you because like it was one of these videos, and I can't remember the video, but you had a large display of CGCs, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, so I transformed my wine cellar into a comic book room, and I kind of mounted a whole bunch of slabs on the wall, as well as putting them in bins because I didn't have enough room on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty cool. Like if you're able to kind of be creative. The one thing that I learned about this hobby like very early is a lot of people feel like Sideshow XM Queen. Whoever you name it, like you buy Wolverine, and we'll just say $400, whatever. Buy Wolverine for $400. It comes to you, and that's it. And then you learn very quickly that's not it. Even whether it's a art print, a comic, a CGC, like you got to buy shelving, you got to buy lights, you got to
Yeah.
buy whatever whether it's a garage shelf, a maju case, anchors to hang your frames up. Like it's so much more. Did you have a lot of trial and error with that when you first actually got a bigger collection?
Well, with comic books, it's fairly easy. For the longest time, we didn't even have slabs or anything. It was just like put your books in a box, close the box, put the box in the closet, and you're pretty much good to go until the next time you want to look at it. But yeah, once graded comics came out, then it was kind of like it expanded that whole displayability of them because they were kind of in a protective case, and you didn't have to worry about it kind of bending on the wall. You still had to keep it out of the sunlight and all that, but it just made it a little more durable. So yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I got into statues, was I didn't want to keep my comic books out, but I wanted
Hmm.
something to remind me of them.
Yeah.
And statues seem to be a great way to do that.
So when it first came to grading, and obviously me being new in that world, like heck, I'm new to statues, only a year and a half in, new to comics, only 2 months in. But when comes to CGC, or I guess graded in general, is that something new in like the last 5 years or so? I believe Jerry had answered it for me before, but I forgot. But also, like, did you gravitate to CGC over was it CBS or CSBS?
Well, at the very, they've been around for, I want to say at least 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
maybe around there. I didn't grade my comics for the longest time. I finally decided to do a few back in, I think, 2010 or 11. So I sent in like five of my favorite books, and I was kind of shocked when they came back, because everyone thinks their books are higher than they are, and then
Yeah, yeah.
you get them back, and you're like, what? Like, what is this? Like, what is a 9.2 versus a 9.6 or whatever? And one of my favorite ones was Iron Man #1, and it came back as being restored. So that was like, whoa, all this time, like the person never told me that it was restored, but that's kind of like one of the risks you take when you buy
Yeah.
raw comic books these days. So,
Do you happen to have any still from your childhood?
oh, I have them all. I don't
Oh
sell
wow, okay.
anything from my personal collection. I've given some away that I've had like multiple copies,
Yeah.
uh, but as far as like the main stuff that I collected from my childhood, I have everything. So.
So no matter where you moved or switch houses, apartments, whatever, like it still stayed with you.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time it stayed at my parents' house while I was going to
Okay.
college and
Yeah.
got married and didn't have room to put it. And then eventually, when I bought my first house, my dad was like, "Oh, here, you want these?" And they were all just boxed up, and I
So
had to
you
make.
had forgot about them. It wasn't like you were like storing them there. Like they just stayed there.
Yeah, well, I was like, "Don't throw these out," but
Okay.
I don't want to keep them in my house because I don't have a space for them. That's when I was living, more like a two-bedroom
Yeah.
place. So yeah, until I had my own house, they lived in my parents' house.
Cool, man. Yeah, I know that feeling. We were in a apartment, and it took us a while to save up for a house and whatnot, and finally we're able to. Got denied the first time. It really sucked.
Yeah,
However, looking back on it, I'm so glad we got denied because the house we were actually trying to get. Looking back on it, was too small. It wouldn't have been the right house. It was very well renovated. It just didn't fit us. You know what I mean? So fast forward 9 months later, if I'm not mistaken, finally was able to get everything in order and get the house that we're in now. And the ironic thing on it, I was able to actually close the deal on her birthday. The
oh,
best
nice.
gift you could give your woman, man. I mean, the best gift you could give. So
Yeah.
it worked out, man. It worked out.
Well,
And
congratulations. Yeah, that's
hey,
that's not
thank
a
you.
small feat. So.
It's not because it was on her side was the left side of the bed. Mine was the right side of the bed. Now there's a his and her closet. So you had your own closet in the room. My side was stacked with PCS sideshow boxes, just stacked. And you're starting to become a collector, and your whole half is just boxes. I mean, Carnage, Venom, just all there. Superman, Aquaman, and then it's like, oh man, I can't wait. And it kind of drove that hunger more. You know what I mean? So I can definitely relate on not having that space for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was just comic book box. I can't even imagine statue boxes in a smaller place. I know if they were at my parents' house, they would have been long gone by the time
Yeah.
I requested them.
Now we had talked about something pre-show in terms of like, I was thinking you were on the East Coast in Florida. You're actually on the West Coast, so that was pretty cool. Now, do you happen to have a Sonic on the West Coast? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, there is,
Oh,
but yeah, you have to go quite a ways to get to it. So
Okay, cool. So that brings me to this part. Last week I did it, you know what I mean? Shout out to Minute Maid. This week I gotta go ahead and show our sponsor for the show. Go ahead, and this is Sonic. This is our half price special. Okay, guys. Between the hours of 2 and 4, you can actually purchase a delicious drink or slushy, and you can get yourself half price. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and tell them that Cash the Gemini sent you, and that's our sponsor for episode 32. I love Sonic, man. I love Sonic, man. You know, and I talked to all the California guys about it, and everybody says the same thing you said, man. That you have to drive a ways to get it. And it's just like I never realized how big California actually is. How's the weather there? And are you ever concerned about tornadoes? Ever concerned about earthquake putty with your statues?
Um, Tornadoes, no. During my childhood, I lived in just south of San Francisco, and I was there for the big earthquake. And we would have it seemed like earthquakes were just a normal thing. I'd be lying in my bed, and the whole room would just shake and just kind of ride it out.
Hmm.
So yeah, but where I am now, I don't think we don't get them as bad, I guess. I don't remember. I don't recall really feeling the last one. So
Yeah. So are you is that born and raised in California or
yeah,
okay.
born and raised in California. I went to New York for a little bit. Kind of traveled the country for a little bit, and then when I got married, back to California. So
Okay. So that's where you met your wife at was in California or
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Do you feel like, when it comes to the family dynamic that the wife is very understanding in terms of the hobby? Because I hear it all the time. People are like, "Oh, I got to sneak this behind my wife or my wife this and that." But, my lady is pretty much like, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean, for the most part. I mean, of course, if you're getting a little carried away, but for the most part, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, my wife's very understanding. I try and get her involved too, so she kind of sees that aspect of it. Um, of course, she doesn't know exactly how much all this stuff costs, but she trusts me and my financial senses, I guess. So, yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, dude. Now, what does she think? Cause like, when did you first get into the actual statues? Did she ever have any like,
She just walked in the
oh,
room.
oh wow, oh, oh
I don't know. She has
wow,
like telepathy or something. She can sense us talking about her. Are you coming in? Oh, you have to come in further than that if you want
oh
to come
wow.
in.
Hi.
What do
Hey,
you think
hello, how's
about
it going?
statues? Here, let's just ask her.
All right.
Okay, so when DT first got his collection, especially this massive collection behind you guys, what's your thoughts on it? Do you feel like, oh, my husband's crazy, or do you like, hey man, this keeps him sane?
Well, a little of both. It started off like small and then just grew and grew and grew. So he's a little insane in that way, but I really think it keeps him happy. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
He loves it. So I'm like, go for it. As long as it stays
nice.
down here
Okay,
and not
so
up there.
how do you feel about the boxes though? It seems like all the wives hate the boxes.
Yeah, the boxes suck.
Yeah, well, we just like got a new storage unit. I had one, outgrew it, got a smaller one at a different place because they raised the rent at the old one, and I was waiting for a really big unit to open up, and finally one did, and we had to move both the other two units into the bigger unit, and now that's full,
Love
and
it.
there's
Yeah.
still boxes in our garage.
Oh
So
wow.
Yeah, the
yeah,
boxes are awful. So if there was a better way to do it,
there's
but
not.
there isn't. So I think you should just stop while you're ahead.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we might
I
have
know
to
it's
sell something.
yeah, awesome.
your look was like, I don't know if I can do.
Loves them. Maybe more than me. No, I don't know.
No, I think as far as like volume and the capacity of our house and our displays and everything, I think I have to cut, set the limit, and then
Yeah.
anything new, something's got to go.
Or get
Unfortunately.
creative with how you display them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we do have we have space for them, but
Yeah, but just because you have space doesn't mean you should put a statue there. So.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
I want to
true.
keep my collection kind of controlled and, organized to some extent. So I think, I don't want to put it every little inch that I have. Otherwise,
sorry, we don't want a statue in the bathroom while you're going to the
Mhm.
bathroom looking at one of these
well,
carriages.
we have posters there. So.
True.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So, all right, I've got food on the
All right.
stove. So whenever you're hungry.
No,
Nice to see you. Bye.
Thank you. Oh man, so we have a question from you from Arch. Arch says, Cash asked him if he ever ran into Bigfoot. I don't. Okay.
Is that a California thing or an inside joke?
Maybe because I said tornadoes in California, earthquakes, man. I don't know. I'm in the Midwest, man.
No, I haven't seen Bigfoot. I would love to though, but
Yeah. DT, do you ship them to CGC or do you send them to a local comic shop?
everything that I've sent off, which isn't not a whole lot, I've sent myself. But I try and when I buy things, especially like big keys, I try to get them already graded, and that's kind of the plus to having the graded comic is that there are no surprises. Like when I got my restored Iron Man back, so.
They think I got you in trouble. They said, thanks to Cash, DT now has to hit Coach, Jared, and Gucci store. Oh man! And then another question here.
Yeah, like.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, she's pretty good about not like spending too, but she just got her hair done, so we're good.
Yeah. No, I think in a relationship, especially with this hobby, I feel like most people are actually okay with the hobby. It's all about finding that balance in terms of like you said, just because you have the space doesn't mean you have to take up every single inch of the space. And do you ever find that, in terms of like, let's say, for example, let's say you have a 5-bedroom house, right? And you have your main room that you're in, but then you also have another room. But that other room you don't go into as much. Do you feel like the rooms have to have some sort of purpose per se?
I mean, they only have to have a purpose to you. So, like, if if you set it up the way you like, and even if you visit it every now and then, if it makes you happy, if you don't need that room for something else, like a guest or something. But like my setup right here. It's not designed. It wasn't set up for like a display. It's supposed to be just this room is like our filming studio, and then I have my office, which I kind of put statues into. It's really on what works for the individual. I think. Some people have rooms full of statues. Other people just have a little corner in one room. So, whatever works.
So when I look behind you, the first statue that comes to mind is probably the Gambit, and I don't know if it's because of the power effect with the cards, but that's the one that stands out to me. It's probably Gambit as well as the light hitting Professor X. Out of those statues that we can see on screen, which one of those are actually your favorite?
I really like that Magneto.
Okay. Yep.
That one. The Juggernaut was one of the earlier ones to enter my collection. And I was just impressed with the whole size of that thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you take it out of the box and you're like, whoa, like guys, like the hand's as big as mine. So
yeah. And looks question is, how many statues do you have? Like, is that even something you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know when I was counting up my XM pieces, it was something around like 35.
35. Okay.
XM, yeah, 35 to 40. The last time I counted the XM pieces. So
So
I think,
speaking of XM, is that your go-to company for your purchases? Or because you're more of an X-Men guy, is that safe to say?
I'm an like X-Men, Transformers, and the Samurai. So obviously
Samurai.
for the Samurai line, that's where you
Yeah.
got to go. The Transformers now, it's like I think they and like a couple like some newer companies are producing Transformers pieces. The older like G1 style
Hmm.
ones, in addition to Prime One. But I think for the most part, I check to see what XM has. But my eyes are open to Sideshow as well in Prime One.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm kind of like I look at the character, and whichever version of the character I feel is better. I'm not really prone to any particular studio or artist or anything like that. I will say, if I do hear Daniel Bell or a certain name, William Harbottle, something like that, I'll definitely be more in tune to at least give it a look, versus just kind of passing it. I will say that. But speaking of the filming studio, now what's the family dynamic like in terms of YouTube? Because I think that you guys honestly knock it out the park in terms of lighting, in terms of I'm a thumbnail guy. All right, I love thumbnails. You guys do a very good job on lighting, thumbnails. Being creative in your videos, whether it's your channel, whether it's the other channels that you guys have, like I think it's all very good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I have a background in art and photography. I went to school for economics, but in the
Okay.
back of my mind, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to either be a comic book artist or a musician. So um, I guess now, with all these statues, it's kind of like a mixture of everything. But yeah, so aesthetics are very important to me. Like I'm a super perfectionist when it comes to things, how they look and how they sound. So that's good and bad when it comes to YouTube. It usually takes me a lot longer to make videos,
Yeah.
to set everything up, to get all the different angles, and then in the editing, making sure everything's like as perfect as it can be.
Yeah. So are you pretty like time consumed in terms of like trying to make sure it's perfect for what you're capable of putting out?
Yeah, I just try to make it look the best that I can make it.
Okay.
And if something doesn't look good, then sometimes
Yeah.
I'll reshoot. I'll reshoot it when I probably don't have to, but
Now, out of all the channels that you guys do have, which one do you actually spend the most time, like I guess, helping or filming, editing for?
um, it's hard these days. We've been doing this for a little over a decade, so um, back in the day, it mainly concentrated around my kids and things they like to do. And now that they're older and they're into doing their own thing, I have a little bit more time to focus on, my hobbies. So these days, I find myself unboxing things or um, just talking about stuff from comic books and art, doing some music on the side. And then when the kids want my help, which is
Yeah.
which nowadays they want to do everything themselves. Then I'll help them out. But
Do they ever give you stuff on their sub count versus your sub count? Like a
no,
little family competition?
no, because I'm pretty much like the background behind every channel. So like I do all the everything except for being on camera.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can kind of brag about that. Because I guess each channel kind of just popped out of like into existence on its own.
Yeah.
Like we just started with one channel, and then we're like, well, let's do something that has to do with this, and then we're like, okay, well, it doesn't really fit the original channel, so let's just make a new one. And each channel just kind of springs up on its own.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was telling her, who I was having this week, and like a couple like weeks back, because I was trying to like find a time to get you on, and she's like, "Oh, you mean like Evan's dad or something?" I'm like, "Wait, what? DT?" Like, and it's just it's crazy because like I don't know my exact subscriber number at the moment, but even when you look at that channel being however many like million subscribers that channel is, it's crazy to think that you can start something at zero and like time goes on and then you get to whatever number you're at, and it's just like dang, there's X amount of people that actually like care whatever content I'm putting out. I just find that fascinating. Like, do you and your kids find that as well, or it's kind of
Yeah,
normal at this
I
point?
mean, especially at the beginning, it's like we just put these videos out to share with, like grandma and grandpa, and a few family members, and then
Yeah.
just to see like 100 people watch it, like who are these people? Who's watching this video? Um, yeah, it's just crazy how it just grows like that.
Yeah.
But but it's pretty fascinating that you can just kind of set up shop in your own house,
Hmm.
talk about things you like basically, and then yeah, people tune in.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty crazy because and to think that you can do it all from a cell phone, from a regular camera, whatever. Like there's different types of channels out there that have a lot of editing or very little editing, and
Mhm.
it's crazy that there's so many different things you can do. Like you can even go on like a family vacation, edit that up a little bit. Like we went to an amusement park and filmed like the whole 2 days, chopped it up. This is a while back, and put it out there, and it was crazy capturing those moments and being able to share those with people.
Yeah, no, people really are engaged with other people's lives, I guess, and
Yeah,
lifestyles, and they just want to see what people are up to. So
yeah.
I know a lot of people that watch my channel, they don't collect statues themselves, but they just want to see what crazy stuff I have to show.
So how is that? Because everybody who's on my channel, they know about the hobby, or at least I would assume anyway. But for you, it's like, are there really people out there who could vicariously live through you and never buy a statue or an art print, a
Yeah, I don't
comic,
know.
anything?
Like, I'm sure there are some that would love to buy them. They're just either maybe they don't have a job yet because they're kids, or um, uh, it's my
So,
my purpose for the channel was really to kind of inform people that are collectors, and also to just get new people interested in the hobby. So
so I got a question for that because you said I don't know if they're kids or what, right? And I had thought about this one day. I'm like, yo, imagine if I knew about this at 16. Got the after school job. At that point, you don't have to worry about rent, mortgage. You don't have to worry about kids. You don't have to worry about nothing. Imagine at 16 the collection you could have. Have you ever thought about that? Or like, dang, son, talk to your son, your daughter. Like, hey, I'm just saying, the collection you could have. You know what I mean? Like, I've thought about that. It's too late for me, but I've thought about it, man.
are you talking statues or?
Anything, dude. Like if I could go back and I was like Marty and I could meet Doc, like I would go back and I'd be like, "Yep, Thanos on throne. Okay, that one, that like I would go back for all the quote unquote grills, and I'd randomly only have the grills, and I'd come back to present day and obviously collect the collection that I'm getting, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably tell them to buy comic books before statues,
Yeah.
if it was, because they could sell them at today's prices and go back and buy all the grails they wanted. Um, but yeah, no, but yeah, time machines would come in handy in this collecting business.
Yeah, man. So we do a movie of the week every week, and it's various movies and genres, primarily based. Start off with the Star Wars. This year was also my first time watching Star Wars ever. I know, but it
Yeah.
was. Um, what's one of your favorite franchise films, whether it's Indiana Jones or whatever that may be?
Yeah, I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. I really got into it with the second one, Temple of Doom, because it had a little Asian kid that kind of reminded me of myself when it came out. So I was like a little fascinated by that. Of course, I liked Harrison Ford from Star Wars. Back to the Future is a big one. Then we get into the R-rated stuff like RoboCop.
Yeah. How was RoboCop your first time watching that? Because like that was pretty graphic. Like
Yeah,
that was
no,
very graphic.
that was the first R-rated movie I had seen in the theater.
Hmm.
We got in there. My dad wasn't. I guess he didn't know what it was about really, and we're like, okay, let's check it out. It looks cool, like a little sci-fi movie. It was packed. I remember being in the very front row and like staring straight up at the screen.
Yep.
And then all's good up until the point where that little warehouse scene.
Yep. Yep.
Then it's like, what did I just see? But
How old were
yeah,
you watching that?
let's see. I'm not sure when it came out. I must have been maybe
Because
13.
like I think I had saw it at I was like 9 the first time I had saw it, and I was just like, what the heck's going on, man? Like like the dude was like out there patrolling. Next thing you know, it's like stuff everywhere. Then they're trying to put them back together, and I was just like, yo, this movie is all over the place, man.
Yeah, no, I was definitely older than 9, but yeah, I could see how that would kind of traumatize somebody.
Yeah. So it looks like X-Men Exclusives is asking, did DT get asked what his favorite statue in the collection is?
Favorite statue? It's probably a toss-up between
What's up, Evan?
XM Hulkbuster and the XM Sentinel versus X-Men diorama.
Oh, is that
Just
the
massive.
the 1/6 one?
Yeah.
Oh, you have that?
Yep. Yeah, I have
Oh,
that,
wow.
and I added like little other 1/6 X-Men around it. I'm running
Okay.
out of space to add more, but yeah, it's just a massive statue. It's like in the middle of my office, so.
So you did you partake in anything Iron Studios Dio?
I ordered all three. So I had ordered the XM Dio a while back, and it was taking forever, to be made, to be
Yeah.
shipped. So then the Iron Studios came up, and I was like, okay, well, man, you get a lot of characters with that one. Let me order that. And so I ordered that, and
Yeah.
then in the meanwhile, the other one shipped, and then I was like, oh crap, do I need X-Men in quarter scale, 1/6 scale, and 1/10 scale? But I didn't want to cancel, so I got it. I got the first one from Sideshow, and it came broken. So it gave me a reason to say, okay, well, maybe I don't want this.
So taking a look at the size of your X-Men Dio in 1/6, so hold that thought there. Have you seen the Batman Sanity or Wonder Woman Courage in person?
I haven't seen it in person.
So do you think with that X-Men Dio in 1/6, would you like to see Sanity or Wonder Woman Courage in 1/4, or do you feel like with that amount of characters, it may be a lot?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a lot. Luckily, they're like with Sanity, they're a little bit more tightly packed, and
Hmm.
the design is very nice, and the way it flows all together. So it's not gonna. There's no like big pieces sticking out. So I think that one would work in 1/4. It'll definitely have a big footprint, but I think that one would work. I I'm not sure about the Wonder Woman one,
Yeah.
but the Sentinel, I mean, obviously he takes up the most space,
Yeah.
and with XM 1/6 scale, I find them to be a little larger than other companies for some reason. So I don't know if theirs are bigger or the other ones are just smaller, but so they're like when I unbox their I guess their Superman and Bizarro, those
Hmm.
pieces are pretty big. Um, compared to other 1/6 scale statues that
Yeah.
I've seen. The bases are big. The figures are big. So
Yeah, I had seen the XM Aquaman 1/6, and I was like, wow, this is pretty big. I mean, it was almost like your smallest 1/4. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But it was definitely nice. So I feel like, far as the XM Studios 1/6, people are definitely getting good collectibles at that scale as well. Would you say your preferred scale is 1/4?
yeah. I think for me that's the ideal scale, just for size, being able to fit pieces in, um, the wow factor, I guess.
Yeah,
I do have some 1/3, but your space is gonna disappear really fast with those. And then the 1/6, it's good if you've got like a big character in there, or if it's like a big dio, then it makes sense. If
yeah,
it's just like one-off 1/6 characters, um, they don't really interest me too much. And then the 1/10 I found just to be too small for my personal taste. It helped
yeah.
that there was a big sentinel there, but as far as the little characters that you can add on, um, it was just too small because I have the Professor X and the Mystique still, and I just put them with my 1/10 Transformers. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're really it's just really small. So
It's crazy because they're giving you a lot of good characters as well, and a lot of people do wish they could get like Pyro, Blob, characters like that
Mhm.
in a bigger scale, because you're not finding those being made by any licensed company anyway.
Yeah.
When it does come to you getting like I guess the word would be a prototype, unless it's like something more advanced or whatever, but like a prototype. And are you ever like worried about breaking it, or like, oh crap, I didn't piece this in right?
Well, a lot of the times the prototypes come broken. They're just not packed the greatest.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a makeshift foam cutout, and then a lot of like bubble wrap and tissue paper. So even the box is just a cardboard box or pieces of a box that have been like turned inside out and taped together. So a lot of times the actual prototypes will have broken pieces that I have to spend some time like gluing them together
yeah,
before I can present it. Then there aren't magnets usually with those, so you have to either use like the blue tack, um, like a little, I guess it's putty,
yeah,
to
yeah.
get it to stick. So it's kind of scary if it's a heavy part that needs to key in. But for the most part, I haven't really broken anything while showing it. Everything's mainly broken during the shipping.
So, out of all the prototypes that you have been able to get in, is there any one that actually blew you away more than any others, in terms of like, oh, the presence of it was more than what you expected, or the color, or anything?
Well, I think for the most part, like almost every statue that I've seen pictures of, and then you see it in person, it's a little you get more than you expect for the most part.
Oh
I
yeah,
think as far as size goes and the details that you don't see on pictures. Um, but the one that wasn't a prototype, it was just I guess the production sample piece, was that the Ghost Rider on horse, um, the White Knight bat cycle. Those are really like very impressive statues. They're production pieces, I guess. So they weren't
yeah.
technically prototypes. Um, or even the very first one I did, the samurai penguin. Uh, yeah, just tons of detail. That's one of the reasons why I like XM. So
Yeah, yeah, I do like XM with the detail. Love the bases. I find pretty much what I'm actually like looking at in the like the stock photos that they show as you're making your purchase decision are pretty spot on from what I'm about to unbox. And out of all the companies in terms of packaging, definitely like XM the most. Obviously, those boxes are definitely a little bit heavier than other companies, but hey, the product is for the most part coming to you, in good condition. So that's always a plus as well.
Yeah.
I would say for myself, out of those that you mentioned, Ghost Rider on Horse is definitely the one I'm looking forward to receiving the most. Can't wait to finally be able to see the how the flames are in real life on a XM piece. Something that's like painted opposed to like translucent, so that's gonna be a little different for myself. And then just the sheer presence alone of a character plus a horse, so I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, it's a big one. So
Yeah. Is there any character that hasn't been made that you would want a licensed company to touch?
um I know
And not
there's
one that's being teased either, like something that you
yeah,
know that you haven't heard of.
I don't know, like you said, I'd love to see some of those X-Men characters that are being made in 1/10,
Yeah.
being made in quarter scale. Um, you know, right now the options for a lot of things are going custom. So that's kind
Yeah.
of what I've been doing in as far as those more obscure characters. Um, but as soon as I buy it or it comes out, then Sideshow makes some kind of announcement or XM. So then I'm like, oh, I should have waited. But I as far as other characters, I think a lot of them have been made um, since I wanted them to be made. So
Yeah.
like a Storm, wanted a Storm.
Storm. Yeah.
So Storm's coming out, Nightcrawler. So Sideshow, I guess, is,
Oh,
is
so Nightcrawler. Are you thinking Sideshow or XM for your personal collection?
well, see, I want the custom route, and then they announced the
Okay.
Nightcrawler. So we'll have to see. Uh, I guess I might still get the Sideshow. Um, I think it's kind of a race between those two companies. As soon as somebody announces it, I think the other one needs to do it, in a timely manner. Otherwise, they're gonna just lose those sales unless people don't mind getting two.
How do you feel about I guess the phrasing would be, how do you feel about quality, like more bang for your buck? When you're making the decision, we'll use Nightcrawler for example. Like Sideshow's Nightcrawler has an EX as well, exclusive edition, 1,000 on the ES side. I think it's 625 if I'm not mistaken. Generally, the price of the XM is going to be about $200 to $350 more, with obviously 999 or lower on the ES. What do you base your decision off of? Is it just like money aside? Is it based off of whose version is better? Whose version speaks to me more?
Yeah, it's changed over time. When I first started out, and I remember like with I think there was a couple that there were options like Sabretooth or Cyclops where they both had both versions come out, relatively close to each other, where you had to make
Yeah,
the decision one or the other. A lot of my decision was based on the cost because it was going to cost a lot more to get the XM. So I did go with like the Sideshow versions of both of those characters. But then once the XM Cyclops started shipping, I had some buyer's remorse and
oh yeah.
wind up swapping those and getting the XM. So from that point on, I was like, well, I really have to take into consideration, I don't have that much, I don't have unlimited space or finances, so I really have to go with the one that speaks to me the most because it's going to be living with me. So it's like I don't want to look at it and be like, oh, I should have got the other one.
So a crazy question for you. And I got myself in trouble with this before. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've definitely got myself in this. I thought I had got myself in it deep, and then there was other collectors who had got deeper. What is the most amount of pre-orders that you've ever had at one point? Like, either it could be per company or as a whole.
I don't think I've ever counted. I probably should have some kind of list. Um,
Is there a ballpark?
I want to say, well, I have quite a few custom pre-orders, and as you know, those can take a while. Some you don't even remember you ordered many months or years down the line. So I want to say probably somewhere in the 20 to 30 range.
Okay.
A lot of them have come in this year, and I've definitely slowed down on what I order these days. But the custom ones are still out there uh, that I should probably check on.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I think I was at like 22
Okay,
at
so you're
one
up there
point.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've gotten it down to like at one point, yeah, I was at 22. I've gotten it down though, so like I'm definitely definitely good. But yeah, man, it can get up there because all you're doing is putting an NRD or whatever up front,
Yeah,
and obviously, like you said, some statues will take a year to come out. Sometimes XM has them coming out like 4 months later, or a custom. Obviously, it could take 2-3 years sometimes. So you never know, and then you start forgetting. Then you may actually buy that character already, or XM announces it, and then you're like, "Oh crap! Why did this with custom, but XM is coming out, and I think XM's gonna do a great job," and then you're like stuck. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's crazy, man.
But I just like look around my room and I'm like, wait, I have how many still on order to yet to come to the house? Where am I
Yeah.
supposed to put these? Where am I supposed to put the boxes? It's like,
So
something's got to move.
I've been wanting to ask you something, man, because you're one of those that gives great reviews, and I've always thought this for somebody like yourself, somebody like Chris, the Batman statue collector, Art as well. He does a very great job with the reviews. Jim Mint, anybody that just does like ballpark, knocks it out the park with the reviews, unboxings, whatever. Is there another reviewer that you actually like watching if you are thinking about getting a piece or you just want to watch a video?
I watch everybody's stuff. It doesn't matter big, small. I just like to get people's take on a
Takes,
piece.
yeah.
They don't even have to be something I want to get, or they don't have to agree with me. It's just fun to kind of see what other people think about it. Because otherwise, it's just me down here by myself talking about things I like. So yeah, to get another opinion, it's always entertaining to me.
Yeah, it really is, man. Somebody's reviews who I had went back and watched a while, and it's crazy because we were on with her with PJ that one time as Gina B. A lot of her older reviews are really really good and detailed, and you know, I don't know how she was filming them, but like they're really well put together. And I wish you got that a lot more from other people. Hell, I wish I could do that. I'm not sure how she's like. I'm not the most like filmy tech guy or anything, but I like her reviews a lot, unboxings, and also the it's cool when the reviewer has that character knowledge. You know what I mean? So that's always also pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's it's tricky because I like to be very detailed, but at the same time, when I'm editing something back, I'm like, man, I talked a lot about this. It's like, do people really want to hear all this opinion about certain things? So I wind up, leaving a lot of things on the cutting room floor, but um, I try and keep in, things I think are interesting. And I think
Hmm.
that's one of the keys to doing reviews is to kind of just make it a little entertaining, not just straight facts or um, not just one-sided opinions. I try to give, you know, I try to show some nitpicks and things like that
Yeah.
for just to give an overall view of what I think about something. But no, I enjoyed watching your Logan video the other day. So
Oh, dude. dude. Okay, wait. Like, thank you, bro. Thank you. Let's see real quick. This is this is really cool, man. This is like this, bro. Okay, this statue here, and it's crazy. Everybody was like, "Yo, you said adamonium." I was like, "I know, bro. I forgot. I was so excited, man. I was so excited. Like, I know I said it wrong, man. I was just so excited. Like, you don't understand how long I've waited for that statue. Obviously, I missed it. It was before I started collecting. There's a very cool collector out there. I was able to snag a couple of his stuff in the aftermarket. I have, I think three or four more things coming from. I can't remember. But able to get it to me at a great price, perfect condition. Um, I'm like, hey, appreciate you watching, bro. Appreciate you watching, man.
Yeah, like so it doesn't matter if it's a new piece, old piece, if someone has something interesting to say about it, it's worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, now I will say this: Thor is my favorite Avenger. When that 1/3 comes in, hey, Spec Fiction, let me know when that shipping notification is coming. When that 1/3 comes in, man, that's my favorite Avenger. My first 1/3 piece. I already know where it's going at. I might lose my stuff, man. I might lose my stuff, man. You just saying.
No, it's a nice piece. I've had
Yeah,
it for a while. I just haven't. Everyone when it came out, everyone had their videos out, and I'm like, oh, I'm too slow. So I got new stuff in and never edited that video. But
yeah. Hey, Archie,
yeah,
definitely right. I did struggle with the left arm because I didn't realize you had to put it. Hey, whatever. That's funny. So now's the part in the show, man, where I get to ask a question, and this is the question that I always have fun with because I never know what the guest is gonna get. Some guests have to vent here. Some guests have to, you never know with this question. This question is based off of Family Guy. Peter Griffin, you know what really grinds my gears? I call it Now You Know. Is there anything you have to get off your chest when it comes to the YouTube comments, the Facebook comments, the reviews, anything you wish the companies would do different, collectors, anything in the hobby that you just want to get off your chest, whether good, bad, or indifferent?
no, I I don't usually have any kind of gripes. Pretty easy going, but I would just say, just be respectful of each other. I see some, comments that kind of, will put down people for their style of collecting, or,
Yeah,
bash a piece. Just, I was brought up, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. But of course, if you do have something, just do it respectfully, do it constructively. I think, we're all here because we love the same thing. So,
yeah.
yeah, I just don't like to see people criticized for things, the way they collect, what they collect. Everyone has their own way of doing things. So,
No, I can see that, man. I mean, I think the biggest one that I see is probably this like scale shaming. Like I think it's safe to say most people are either 1/4 or 1/6 collectors, and if you do get that odd collection that is mostly 1/10, and I've seen some great 1/10 collections by the way, but like a lot of people will like maybe scale shame those because they're not, oh, that doesn't matter. It's not quarter scale or it's not 1/3 or whatever. So I'll see that a lot, but I definitely agree, man. Probably just being respectful to the different collectors, artists, etc. So I think that's a good one.
yeah, as far as companies go, everybody doesn't like prices these days, or shipping rates.
Prices, shipping, yep.
I see a lot of people, they're they're really up in arms because they can't seem to justify the cost of everything, and the amount of the increase in quality versus the increase in price, right?
Yeah,
And it probably doesn't have anything to do with that. It's more about companies just being a company, right, and trying to
yeah.
maximize profits, which you have to understand too from the business standpoint of everything. So really, I guess the only way for the prices to stop going up is for people to stop spending that money, and that'll force companies to, keep their prices affordable.
Yeah, yeah. And the only hard part with that is you have different types of, collectors. Everyone has a different job, profession, or a different part of life that they are in. They can afford different things or various things at the same time. Or even if it's not about a financial decision, some people may really need a Captain America, and this is the one that they like more than others, so they don't care about the price. So
Yeah.
it's so many variables that it will be hard to, I guess, for collectors to unite, so to say, and make that
Yeah.
happen.
No, it probably won't. But yeah, that's what you see not only in statues, but you see that in comic books these days and artwork. There's just people that they will pay whatever they can
Yeah.
to get whatever they want. So it makes it really hard for the average Joe, which which is unfortunate. But at the same time, I don't. The companies probably they see it as just an opportunity to make more money, which
Yeah.
that's their job too. So yeah, it's tough.
So out of all the forms of art that you do have in your collection, and you touched on obviously comics going back to the beginning, but out of all the like different forms of art in your collection, what would you say is the actual most meaningful to you? Is it the comics, the prints, or the statues?
So I got into original comic art, which was probably a huge mistake because the stuff is insanely expensive. Um, we're talking like one of one items. So of course uh, you got the supply kind of working against you when it comes to the price. Um, but I think that those are the items that I kind of treasure the most, just because uh, they are like one of one. They are the origin of the actual comic book. So um, yeah, I like those, and I like the comic books, and the statues are kind of a nice way to just be able to display and kind of remind me of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like the statues. I think like having a representation of your favorite characters, from whatever point in life that started, is really cool. When you're able to walk into that room, and for me, for the longest, it was XM Studios' Green Goblin being my favorite piece. But then it slowly moved over in statue form to Silver Surfer. Just being able to like see that representation, and it's crazy because like going back to being a kid when you very first saw these on video games, cartoons, comics, whatever it may be, you never could have told me in the future there's going to be a quarter scale, third scale representation of this, and you know what, you'll be able to own it, and not just one, multiples. And I would have been like, no way. And like to have art prints on your walls and CGCs next to your pieces, like it's really crazy. I know like my brother had came down here for the first time, and he literally like filmed a room tour to show his girlfriend, and 'cause she's in comic stuff, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, "Is that in his house?" Like, wow. And how do people react to your collection in person? The people who don't know about it.
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I had some friends over this past week, and usually nobody sees this stuff except for me and my family when they come down to bug me. Um, but we kind of gave them a tour down here, and their eyes just like light up because they, like you said, nobody really knows this stuff exists beyond
So
collectors and
before you
people that
go any
in the
further,
industry.
do
Yeah.
you get that little like okay, so mine, I have to walk down a flight of stairs to the basement. I get this little like I don't really know what to say. Like, hey, don't be appalled. You know what I mean? Like this little, like a disclaimer. You know what I mean? Do you give them that? Like, hey, don't touch anything. Hey, don't be shocked. Don't be surprised.
No, I mean, I kind of know it's coming. I didn't tell anyone not to touch anything, but yeah, I mean, these days with the whole MCU and DC Cinematic Universe, people are pretty they seem to be more in tune with these characters, at least some of them, the more popular ones. So, like they could recognize, Spider-Man or Spider-Man villains and Superman and Batman and his rogues. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not like they're like, oh, that's interesting. What is that? Their eyes just light up, and soon after their cell phones come out, and they're like, can we take pictures and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
cool, because usually it's just, yeah, like I said, just me down here, kind of admiring my own collection.
Yeah, that's me. Like every single time I get a chance, I take like a different like viewing angle of Silver Surfer, and I swear every single time I look at it at a different angle, I can see like a different hint of color in the vortex or something. I'm just like, oh, I don't think that was there before. Maybe it's just me like over liking the statue. I'm like, oh, I swear that wasn't there before. I swear it wasn't there
But
before.
that's the great thing, is when you actually give your statue attention like that, right? It's not just something you put on the shelf and you kind of forget about. So if you're paying
Yeah.
that kind of attention, that means it was a good buy.
Yeah, it definitely was a good buy, and I actually wasn't gonna get it at first. I really wasn't, and I was asking casual. I'm like, yo, dude, send me some pictures, send me a video of it, bro. Like let me know, man. And I finally bailed and got it, and no pun intended to Daniel Bell, but it's in my top three, man. Like I love the statue. Like I love it, man. Yeah, I love it. I'm glad I finally pulled that trigger to get it. I don't think it was, a waste. It was probably one of the few pieces, like I say, like money well spent. Like nothing I see wrong with it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I find it very hard to go wrong with Daniel Bell pieces.
Yeah.
Definitely when it comes to the sculpts, anyway. So,
Oh yeah. And here's a good question for you. Will you buy a statue you don't like just to have a representation of a character you love?
um, I might. I'm kind of a completionist. So if I needed a character to complete like a whole line of characters, and that was the only one available, I might be able to accept some flaws. Um, and then if something better came along, I guess I would sell it. Um, but for the most part, I try and just pick out things that I absolutely love. But
Mm-hmm.
in the terms of like, if I'm trying to complete like a Transformers line or an X-Men line, and I just need like one more character or a couple characters, I might add it to the collection regardless of if it's like the perfect execution of it.
So what's your very first statue that you ever got?
The very first one was a Bowen Punisher statue.
Bowen.
It's
Okay.
like, yeah, it was the ASM 129, the first appearance of Punisher on
Mm-hmm.
Amazing Spider-Man, where he's like aiming the rifle at
Yeah.
Spider-Man target. Um, so again, it was the callback to that issue and the comics. And the second one was the one that got me into like bigger, larger scale statues was the Wolverine versus Hulk um, Dio from Sideshow.
Yeah.
And I remember just watching like a comic book video on YouTube, and the guy had it like spinning on a turntable in the background. I was like, oh my God, what is that thing? And then I had to like do some research. I was like, what is this Sideshow place? And I looked it up, and I was like, $600, like, or, it's like, like you're
Oh
thinking it's like
man.
a piece of plastic or something. Um, but I held off on buying it right then and there. But as I researched and found out more about statues, I was like, okay, that's how much these things cost. They're solid. They're not cheap material. So I wound up finding one. I guess the EX version on
Mm-hmm.
eBay, and picked it up, but I didn't open it for the longest time. I just got too busy. I wanted to make a video about it, and I just got too busy. Other things came in.
Yeah.
So then I finally wound up opening it up. But
Yeah.
the first big statue that we actually opened was Thanos on throne. Um, I think it was around the time either Endgame came out or Infinity War. I forget, but
Yeah.
yeah, Thanos was all the rage. So
It's crazy that statue is amazing. I can't wait till it finally comes to my collection. Um, Being able to talk to the artists who worked on that piece and getting like an in depth, behind the sculpting of the chair, designing it was really amazing. Talking to JP when he was talking about the statue, and to know that there was actually supposed to be more on there, but he had to scale it back, per Sideshow's request was really amazing, man. And just hearing him talk, and like it was almost like one of those conversations with him, with JP. I think he was on episode 17 if I'm not mistaken, but he was like, as an artist, like they want you to interpret every single word that they're saying, so you could almost close your eyes and just envision it of what they're talking about. Like he did Thanos, he did Mr. Freeze, he did Voltron, he also did that new one that Sideshow has, the Dragon Slayer, the Sideshow. Yeah, he did that one as well. So he's a very good artist, man. Very good artist.
yeah, these guys are amazing. What
Yeah.
things they can do.
So
Like I'm a
who would you
2D kind of guy, so when you
2D?
bring something 3D out, I'm like, whoa, man, this is crazy.
Who would you say are your top sculptors? Is Daniel Bell in your top?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, okay.
Daniel Bell. I like Franco, Caleb.
Franco.
Um, what am I blanking out? The guy that does the Transformers for XM, I think Hadmaja is his name. He also did the Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
Just crazy, like I don't even know how they do it. But there's so many good guys. Aaron Ray Perez. Um, yeah.
Do you feel like Caleb should get more recognition? Because a lot of his stuff is a fan art. I mean, if there is any licensed pieces of his, I don't know about them myself. Obviously, with Franco, it's kind of like both and both. But I feel like anything that I see of Caleb's, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to take whatever that concept is and just detail the heck out of it. So
With your fan arts, do you still have like do you keep them all, or do you end up not liking some when they actually come? I believe we had a previous comment asking, do you still have the thing?
yeah, I have everything. I've never gotten rid of anything yet. So whatever I've shown on the channel, I still have. Whatever I've unboxed, I still have stuff in the box that needs to come out. That's one of the
So,
bad things about being a YouTube guy. It's like you got to do everything on camera. So
so just to confirm, when I'm dating this back to your dad saying, "Hey, we got these comics." Like, are you saying you've never sold anything?
I I I've given stuff away, the comic books, and I used to sell things, not out of my personal collection, but I used to sell um, stuff at retail price, but get it at wholesale to my
Mm-hmm.
kids at school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd cut a little profit there. But as far as if it's entered my collection, it's pretty much still going to be there because
Still gonna
I
be
don't
there.
remember selling anything. I traded a couple things to get a graded copy of something way back when I was a kid. But as far as selling things like on eBay or Facebook or whatnot, no. So yeah, I have everything.
Oh man, that's crazy, dude. Oh, dude, and So like how long do you actually keep something in box because you're trying to, wait for the right opportunity to film it, or are you kind of like, hey, it's 3 a.m. I'm going live, man. Like, what are you doing?
I should probably do some live things just to get it done, because a lot of things I will film and the footage will just sit on my computer while I'm working on something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I have probably a good 7 things in the boxes that I need to unbox. It's
Okay,
just
okay.
that something will come in, or two things will come in at the same time, and then before I can get to the second one, like something else will show up.
Here
So
comes another, yeah,
yeah, or I have to
man,
work on the other channels or whatever. So
yeah. Man, that's cool, dude. That's cool. Speaking of the other channels, something I've always just like wanted to know out of curiosity, like especially with the kids channels, like how do other like classmates treat a kid that's like a known YouTuber? Is it like a distraction, or is it like, you know what I mean? Like how like what's that
yeah,
element
I
like?
think well, since we've been doing it for so long, I think it depends on at what age you're at, because when you're at the target age at the time was whatever age our kids were. So
Right.
like the older videos, they're geared more for younger kids, and then as we progress, it's more for like older kids. um in high school, it's not cool if you're making kid videos, right? So I think they give you a little bit harder time when you're older. And then when you're a kid, it's all cool. It's sort of like shows that we used to watch, and uh, at the time it's cool to watch Sesame Street, but when you're an adult, when you're looking back on it, it's like what? So yeah, I
Oh
mean,
man.
it's something the kids are pretty good about it. Um, but of course, you're going to get people that have something to say. So much, just like anything.
Yeah, just like anything. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Sort of just like
Cool.
a life lesson. It's like people are going to say things to you, whether it's about the clothes you wear, or your
Yeah.
YouTube channel. So you just have to. It's one of those things you have to just learn how to deal with, I guess. But for the most
Yeah.
part, our audience is pretty wholesome. So we don't get any people that are too crazy.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And now I do see that you have on the Marvel shirt, and there was a recent trailer that did come out. It was a She-Hulk trailer. Did you happen to watch it?
I did. I watched it. I watched it through once.
What did you think about the trailer? Is She-Hulk actually a character you yourself like? Are you interested in actually seeing this show? Like, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'll check out any show they put out. And I'm not a big critic of TV shows or movies. I just, if I can stay awake through them, then they're good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, my son kind of brought it to my attention because he's the first to look at all these trailers and all
Hmm.
the theories and leaks and all that kind of stuff. He always just brings it to me, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. Why don't you just wait till the show comes out, and then we'll talk about it then. But uh, yeah, he was talking about like how people are having issues with the CG
Oh
and this and
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So no, I'm excited to see it. I mean, She-Hulk's she was not one of my like favorite characters, but it's an interesting character. Just reminds me of the bodybuilders back in the day. I used to uh, compete back in the 90s. So you know,
Oh, dude, you gotta tell us about this because in the chat they were talking about it. They're like, "Yo, I want to know how much DT benches. Are you do you do you have a shake weight around the house?"
no shake weights. I do have adjustable bar dumbbells from when COVID shut down all the gyms. But no, I don't even know what my one rep max is these days. I mean, I'm an old man, so I was thinking about getting back into competing a couple of years ago in
Okay.
the masters division. You know, like all the old guys. I could still hang with those guys. So, um, but yeah, I competed as a teenager back in the '90s, and then once I hit 20, I was like, I'm out. You know, I'm not going up against these big guys. So, but yeah.
How was that? Like, was this something that you actually like trained for? You were in like junior competitions.
Yeah, so my mom had me like I was in and out of gyms a lot because my mom was the aerobics coordinator
Oh,
for I
cool.
think like two or three different gyms. So she was dragging my brother and I like to gyms all the time. So we kind of grew up around fitness and that kind of thing. So she got me as soon as I turned 16. She got me a trainer, and yeah, I just kept training. Competed for the first time at 17, and then did that through 19. So
Do you ever like miss it at all? Just like do you ever miss the competition aspect?
yeah, I mean it was fun, but it's a lot of dedication, a lot of work. Um, you have to like eat like crazy, then diet like crazy. It's kind of like a yo-yo thing. So it's not the most healthy thing for your body.
Yeah.
Um, so these days I just try and keep it kind of steady and not overeat and not undereat as well. So not
Oh,
go too
dude.
heavy because yeah, I'm more prone to injury these days.
So like when it comes to like the competitions and stuff, were you like watching like the Arnold Classics and all those type of things?
Yeah, the Arnold Classics, Olympia, of course.
Yep.
I would get all the magazines, you know, because there wasn't at the time there wasn't. I guess there was the internet, but it wasn't. It wasn't the internet we know today, as far as the wealth of
Oh,
information you could
DSL.
get.
You've
So
got mail. You've got
yeah,
mail.
you would read all these articles and stuff, and all the pictures of all the guys on steroids and stuff. So
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people liked it. Obviously, you had Schwarzenegger back then. Uh, you had Lou Ferrigno, um, John and Claude Van Damme. You had Chuck Norris, man. Even Chuck Norris, you know. So like, were you into any of those type of like flicks and everything like that as well? Far
oh
as
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah, it was all about Schwarzenegger and Van Damme, some Stallone in there, even Seagal.
Seagal, dude. Okay, what was Seagal? Seagal's in a lot of. Seagal is almost in a category like Nicolas Cage now. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
like his film list has to be like 300, man. Like there's a lot now. Yeah, that's cool though, man. That really is cool. So moving along, man, I wanna ask you this here. When it comes to statues and it comes to your personal collection, what do you feel is your direction? You know, like obviously you've mentioned the things that you do like X-Men, Transformers, but has your collection actually ever, I don't want to say like change, but how do you see the evolution of your collection from that very first, oh hey, I see that, you know, that's that statue behind that guy's collection to now, like because you're trying to fight between not taking all the room, there's stuff in boxes, the film, like how do you see your collection moving forward?
well, there are the two lines that I'm kind of like all in on are the Samurai and the XM Transformers, and then X X-Men from whatever company, as long as they kind of fit together. Um, that's my main focus, and then I have like Spider-Man and Spider-Man villains in my other room, uh, and like the random life-size bust.
Yeah.
Um, those just kind of opportunity came up to get those, so I got them. But yeah,
Are you getting any Wolverine bust life size?
I don't have any on order.
Okay.
There was one that I was looking at, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, those things take up a lot of space and can
Oh,
be.
which one were you looking at?
There was one that was like a Logan one, right? I think he had like, I don't know if he had one arm.
Yeah, I got that one coming in.
You? Oh, cool.
Yes, sir. I can't wait for it, man. I George had did a like a review on it. George from the MCE, and I was just
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, yeah, cool, man.
I've seen a
So
few like,
he's
oh, yeah, Wolverine. I think, I have a Venom one coming. Um, but yeah, a Wolverine would be nice.
yeah.
One of them, I was afraid the claws would like catch on somebody. It's like,
Oh man. See, yeah, that's where that "do not touch" or "do not get too close" sign comes in. At I actually may have to think about that because I was gonna put it like I have like a shelf behind the couch and I was gonna put it there, but now that you say that, I actually gotta look and think about that because somebody could go to sit back and like Wolverine has like it get too gory, man, like freaking RoboCop. But anyways, man, that's
yeah.
crazy,
But
dude.
as far as the evolution of my collection, I don't know. It just has a mind of its own. So it's like I have my main focus, but occasionally other pieces will sneak in there if I think they look cool. So
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up. Is there any like actual what do you call it? Like, is there like so right behind you are those? Is that IKEA shelving?
yeah, so this is what I started with, the inexpensive IKEA stuff,
Okay.
which works well if you want to like put each character in like its own little cube. Then I've
Mm-hmm.
got the samurai pieces in Maji cases, um, but that's quickly filling up. I didn't realize they were going to make so many samurai pieces, so now I have them like on top of the Maji case as well. And then
In terms
for
of
some,
samurai, oh sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say for some of the other pieces that are bigger or heavier, I just build the little shelf myself. So
Oh wow, okay.
just to make sure nothing
Yes.
falls. Like I got this big Devastator Transformer
Uh huh.
statue that came in like two coffin-sized boxes. Um,
Yeah.
it's like 200 pounds or something, but I had to find a spot for it. It's like 40 inches wide or something crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, you have to like custom make something for pieces like that.
You just made it yourself. You just got some
Yeah.
wood and
Yep. 2x4, some plywood. I can jump up and down on it like family of
oh, you
four.
tested it out.
Yeah, we all stood on it. Make sure it's
Oh
like
man, that's
framed like a
crazy.
house.
Okay,
I
okay.
got the idea from Craig from Half Fast Reviews. He
Uh
did a
huh.
whole like setup in his office,
Yeah,
which I think he's had to tear down since then. But yeah, he built that thing like rock solid. So I was like, yeah, that's what I need.
yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, that's definitely cool. Do you ever feel like with with those from IKEA that you'll ever upgrade or change or,
I would love to have like doors on them, like
hmm
acrylic, just for dust and stuff. But yeah, I mean, someday I think they'll change. I'd love to have Maji cases everywhere, but those things are expensive. Take a while to get. So
Yeah, I think IKEA should make the doors again. A lot of people seem to like really like those when they did make them, and then they stopped making them, and now people sell them for like four times what the original price was, and they're hard to come behind. To like now, if people see somebody selling like eight of them, even if they don't need them, they'll just grab them because like, well, maybe I will one day, so they'll just
yeah,
grab them.
but some of the bigger pieces, like Juggernaut, his hand like comes forward,
Out.
like so
Okay.
I wouldn't be able. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to close the door for that one unless you like shove them back a little bit. But yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fine how they are now. I just take the duster to it a couple times, but
Cool, man. Cool. So, how often do you dust?
Probably not as much as I should, but when I
Yeah.
notice it, that's when I dust. And it's usually just like the case itself, and occasionally like off the shoulders. Um, but yeah, you should probably do it, I guess, a little more often. But
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things you try to do as often as you can. I don't know, maybe like once a month, whatever. But sometimes like that month goes by, and then it's every 2 3 months. But I don't know, man. Like you'll know if your statue needs some like if you got spider webs growing, man. You gotta get it together. But like, if you don't, you're good to go. Like I was actually gonna buy like Gina B did a review, right? I'm checking out the review. I hit her up. I'm like, yo, I saw your review. I'm like, do you still recommend the statue? Because it was an older review at this point. And I'm like, do you still recommend the statue to this day? She's like, yeah, it still holds up. I still have it. They haven't made the character again to this point, so definitely go ahead and get it if you can. I'm like, hey, would you say it's actually worth X amount of dollars that they're asking for it? She said, yeah. So I'm like, cool. I'll go ahead and get the statue. I started looking for it. I finally found two of them. Like, okay, I'll go with the first guy. Check out his pictures. The statue in the picture listing literally had spider webs on the statue, and I'm just like, come on, man, come on. It's like, come on.
if you get it, it's like dusting off a relic, right? Yep.
Oh man, no, it was. Yeah, I wouldn't have got it. No, Jerry, it wasn't. It wasn't Electra. Electra's a great statue, but it definitely wasn't Electra, man. It was another. It was a. It was Jane Foster, the old Jane Foster. But yeah, it wasn't Electra. Yeah, that's cool, man. There's so many great, content creators out there that, like you said, whether big or small, I think that's always pretty cool to give another perspective, another viewpoint, and it's crazy. Like I've seen statues in good lighting and bad lighting, and that makes all the difference as well in terms of like the pictures, because a lot of people rely on those pictures that are put out. Is that obviously you said about photography, but is that something you keep in mind when you are putting out reviews? Is just that lighting perspective?
Oh, definitely. So the first thing is like sufficient light, right? You don't want to have dark photos so you can see the detail, and you don't want to have overexposed images either, because then you lose the detail there as well. But in order to see like a three-dimensional form, you really need to light things like from an angle. That way you're
Mm-hmm.
casting shadows and where they should be and where you expect them to be. So I think that's important. You can't just like blast light from all angles onto a statue and be able to see all the curvature. So
Yeah. Cool, man. And then also like just to ask, out of everything that's been released, from you have Sideshow Cons, you have Prime One Studio next level showcase. What's your favorite like event to actually like watch? Like which one actually like gets you pumped for something new, or you can just sit back and enjoy?
I kind of haven't seen the latest of those preview shows. I kind of
Yeah,
try to put the blinders on a little bit so I don't get too carried away.
get tempted.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I kind of just wait for them to pop up for order, and then that's when I make my decision. But I think as far as who does it best, I think Prime One. Um, I think they make their presentation pretty nice.
yeah,
As far as just what they're presenting, how they present it, um, just the way they go about it. Sideshow, it's it's kind of hard to watch some of that stuff just because it's mixed in with older pieces, and
older pieces.
you
Yeah,
kind of have to catch it at the right moment or watch the replay and just kind of fast forward to the part you want
skim
to see.
through. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
uh, and the lighting, I guess the first time they did it wasn't that great. So if they could just maybe set it up a little better, and maybe film some B-roll before actually doing the live stuff, and just cut to some of that, I think it'll come across a little better.
Yeah, I think for the latest one that they had, for myself, it was almost easier to watch Jim's reviews. I guess you could say like how they were broken up. It was almost like missing a basketball game. You kind of just like watch the ESPN highlight, you know. So
Yeah,
that almost made it a little bit easier for me. Plus, he does good reviews, and then it's also, you know, it was good footage, so it kind of shortened it and simplified it to the point of what the individual collector may be eyeing, like far as a piece or even just a character that they may like or something like that. So I think that was pretty cool. For myself, I do like Prime One. You know, I'm not, other than outside of Predators, I don't have any Prime One in my collection. So half the stuff that I'm actually watching is stuff I'll never actually purchase, but I
yeah,
definitely do like. I like their event. I like how it's formatted. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
I like how the Asaka-kan guy had actually like commented back to one of our guys because we made a joke about, we're like, hey, does he have like a polystone like dreads or something? And he commented on our video like, dude, my hair, I have real hair, not polystone hair. The guy from the showcase. So that was pretty cool, man. So
That's
the
cool. So you
last,
don't have any Prime Ones, huh? No, no
I
giant
I have
Batman.
I have two predators and a jungle hunter's victim. I actually had a third Predator, sold it, and I had Prime One Batman Batcave on order and canceled that. I would
That's
love
right.
to get
I
there.
remember that.
Yeah.
So you didn't want it, huh?
Nah, I ended up not getting it because like okay, this is gonna sound strange, right? I love Batman. I love the Batman movies. I love the Batman animated series. I love Batman. But when it comes to statue representation, it's something about Marvel and Predator that I, and like even the horror stuff, that I like more than Batman because I like color. And Predators,
Mhm.
you got the greens, you got the tan, you got the reds, with, you know, with the blood and stuff. And then with Marvel, obviously, like most of the characters are more color. And I like that aspect in the collection of being able to see like the color with the lighting versus Batman. It's more dark and dense and stuff like that. So I was like, if I'm gonna go get DC stuff, I'm perfectly fine with 1/4. You know, you got Sideshow, you got Tweeterhead, you got XM. With those three companies, I think I'll be able to get what I want. You know, may not be as many collectibles in terms of like versus Marvel, but I'll be able to get what I want. So
Yeah.
it was all right.
Yeah, it's tough if you're used to collecting quarter scale and then all of a sudden you got this giant piece and
Yeah,
then you have
yeah, yeah.
to get another one or make it some kind of standalone somewhere. Um,
Right.
yeah, that's kind of my dilemma with the one thirds that I do get in is like I can't really put them here because they make everything else look small. So they kind of have their own little area. But
Hmm.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it could be a hassle. That's why I said I'm still waiting for that Thor to come in. But once it does, like I maybe I'll be shocked and maybe like, well, you know what? It's a 1/3. They're all the rest are 1/4. Who cares? I like it. You know what I mean? Never, you never know, man. Do you have yours like with 1/4, or it's kind of set by itself, or?
Well, I was trying to find a spot for it. I have the one third Captain America, and he kind of is right in the entrance of my little comic book room. So he kind
Yeah,
of has his own little pedestal. But
that's
then
kind of
once I
cool.
put him there, I didn't have room for another one third. So right
Yeah.
now he's just kind of sitting on a little display right next to my one of my I guess the Master Race Batman. So it's kind of like DC versus Marvel right there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, those one thirds they're hard to place. I was able to sneak them up to the main floor of my house in the hallway leading to my bedroom. My wife likes the Hush Superman, so she let me put that there, and then I started putting other ones next to it. But those are where my one thirds are. But yeah, there's no more room there right now.
Yeah.
And I have
Have.
that. I have the Batman versus Joker dragon. That
Oh, okay.
all those
Yeah.
factory pictures coming out. But
Yeah.
I might cancel it just because it's a huge piece that I don't know where I'm gonna put. So
Yeah. Um, so it's funny because when she came on, she's like, as long as they stay here, you know what I mean? Like, you've never tried to sneak one elsewhere, like just to see.
well, when I built the Spider-Man versus Venom Dio,
Yeah,
I built that in the kitchen, and I just left it there on the kitchen table. The kids were admiring it, and she didn't say anything. So
yeah,
I think it's when it gets in the way of whatever she needs to do,
in
then
a way,
it'll
yeah.
become a problem. But as far as looking at it, I don't think she minds too much.
Yeah, I actually tried to sneak something in, and it was a Groot. Like she's into plants and all that type of stuff, like pottery. So I had got this Groot, and it was like in the shape of a heart, right? And I'm like, hey, it was like a pottery like where you could put a plant inside of the Groot. So I like stuck it there on the shelf just to see, and I'm like, hey, I got you something. Do you see? And she's like, oh yeah, I see the Groot. And so like she uses it, and now in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, hey, if I put a poison ivy there as well, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Oh, I could put a swamp thing there, so I could kind of keep this going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then if Marvel ever makes a man thing, now we're in business. I'm not a fan of
As
these
long as it
characters, but now we're in
coordinates, I
business.
think you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll never know, man. She'll never know. It's crazy, dude. And I definitely appreciate her coming on, man. That was definitely funny, man. That was funny. That was funny.
No,
Yeah, like a lot of
she likes coming on.
yeah, yeah. That was cool, man. So the final question I got for you is always one that it kind of stoops people. I don't know. Some people get stumped by it. Some people get like puzzled. I don't know, man. Some people's answers are pretty precise and pretty spot on. So I'll go first today, right? So we got the Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore being four characters. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you want to give an honorable mention fifth, you most definitely can. You most definitely can. So I'll go first with my Mount Rushmore. And this is gonna be a Mount Rushmore of characters today. Of any comic characters. So I'm gonna say Doctor Doom, I'm gonna say Magneto, I'm gonna say Logan, and I'm gonna say Deadpool. And my honorable mention fifth, gotta throw in Gambit.
Okay. So this is any order
Any order, it doesn't matter.
or all right. So I'm gonna go with Punisher.
Okay.
Um, I'll go with Amazing Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Nice.
Let's see, comic book characters. I guess Batman's got to be in there.
Yeah, Batman.
And do I have an honorable mention? Um, did I name all heroes?
Yeah, you did. All heroes.
Let's 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 throw the Juggernaut in there too.
Ooh, okay. The Juggernaut. Okay. Okay. Okay, nice. That's a good list. That's a good list. Do you want to see another company do Juggernaut?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always open to, it doesn't hurt to have more options, right? Um, I've seen a few. Oh, I do have a custom one on order.
Okay.
Again, I forgot that I had it. But it's the one. It's a Dio Juggernaut versus Colossus.
hmm
Have you seen that one? It's like Colossus like jumping in the air.
No, no, I haven't.
I mean, it's going to be a massive piece. I mean, it's a quarter scale with those two guys. So
Yeah, yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I
uh,
haven't. I
for
haven't seen that one.
the, came out a while back, but yeah, I'm actually excited for that one. It's been a
Um,
while.
so so I'm actually gonna bring something up, and I just want you to tell me what do you think about this piece. Right, this is a Colossus piece, made by the same people who made that Logan bust that we were talking about earlier. So I'm just gonna go through them. You just let me know a yay or nay from DT, man. Is this Colossus one that you could see in your collection from everything the concept, the design, and obviously the costume he has on, man, the uniform because it's differently painted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm more
are
of
you?
a classic costume, but I know the X-Men have had many costumes throughout the years. um,
Are you familiar with this design at all?
I I am not, but this is a quarter
Oh wow.
scale.
This is quarter scale from Iron Kite. It's Colossus. They did Colossus, Deadpool, Lady Deadpool, Jean
Yeah.
Grey.
No, I think their stuff looks pretty good. I haven't
Hmm.
seen anything in person, um,
Yeah,
but with all the Colossus statues, I don't know if this would be on top of my list. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but
I don't
it
know.
looks,
I want a Colossus, but that one's price isn't bad, but it's also like you don't want to settle. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like I would be settling if I were to get it, man. Ugh,
yeah.
that's crazy.
What do you think about the existing ones on the market? Sideshow XM.
I really like the XM. I really like the XM Colossus. I think that Colossus is very good. And if I had a chance to be able to get it, I actually would. Let me see here. I like how he's like yanking the cords.
Hmm.
I really like that a lot. Like this is a really good one here.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I had
Yeah,
already picked up the Sideshow one, um,
yeah.
but I like the way this one looks and the way the colors pop a little better.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with the sideshow one. I do like the exclusive that they gave on that. I thought that was pretty
Mhm.
cool. How do you feel about the danger room bases? Are you a fan of that, or it's something different?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. The base is, as long as it's done well, it's not high on my priorities of what it is.
Hmm.
Um, sure, it'd be nice if they all matched, like they're all in the same place. But if you're picking and choosing from different companies, you're probably not going to get that anyway. So even if they're different sculptors, they're going to do the Danger Room or Sentinel differently. So they're not
Yeah,
always going to match up perfectly.
yeah, yeah. That's something I didn't actually think about because unless like the Gambit is also Bell, then it is gonna be a little slightly different versus who else did it? Rogue, for example. So didn't think about that, but I ended up with Sideshow's Gambit, but XM's Rogue, and
Oh, you
I
were
think
asking me
it's
about that one, right?
yeah, yeah. I was asking you, and I ended up going with a Rogue, and dude, even that one here. Let me see. Let me show you, man. Even that one here is like just crap, man. Just look at. I mean, dude, just crazy, crazy. In the fact that you have the curly hair and all that, I thought that was like a very good touch. I felt Sideshows was like long gone, so I didn't feel like trying to hunt it down or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm very satisfied with XM's. Then I was able to get the Gambit uh, exclusive from Sideshow in the aftermarket, great price. So very happy for that too, man.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. And last question for you: how do you feel about the aftermarket in terms of purchasing, and any recommendations for people out there?
Um, no, I mean, I'm glad there is an aftermarket because, a lot of these pieces, the older ones or the popular ones that go, it's definitely nice to know you can still get something after
Yeah,
sold out. Um, I haven't picked up too many things recently, um, aftermarket, but the Thanos on Throne, I did have to pay a premium to get
yeah,
when it came out, uh, as well as the Sideshow Rogue, because I passed the first time. I was like, you know, not really into it. So
yeah.
yeah, as far as prices go, I mean, don't buy on eBay, I guess, or negotiate,
Yeah.
right? Negotiate or put in a best offer when available. Um, but yeah,
I almost got stuck with a statue, dude. Like I had accidentally bid like $1,000. True story on Sideshow's Doctor Strange last night. And like the bid before was like $100 and I put like 1,000. I'm like, dang it, man. And then somebody was
did
like,
it
yo,
end?
don't.
Did the
It
auction
did
end?
end, but at like
Oh,
the last like 30 seconds, somebody outbid me by a hundred
oh,
dollars.
really?
I was like, yes, man, because I was not prepared to pay that on accident, man.
I think there's a way you can retract your bid before it ends or something, but
Oh man, see, I don't even have like too much like buying on there to like really to like know all those things, man. But obviously now I know, so cool, man. But I was just like, oh, don't let me win this. Do not like I want the statue, but don't let me win this at that price, man.
well, I think that the auctions for the most part are okay. It's just like when you go and you search a piece and it's like, you know, 3 times the price that everyone else is selling it for. It's like makes you scratch your head a little bit. It's
Yeah,
like, does this
for
person
sure,
really
man.
want to sell this?
I don't know. I've seen some crazy prices on eBay. I've seen some
Yeah.
crazy prices on eBay. Like, dude, that's not even the exclusive, and it's used, and it's like, you say it's damaged, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think it's
crazy.
the same way when you go to some of these like brick and mortar stores that sell collectibles. I remember going to Universal Studios down in Hollywood, has a shop that had statues in it, and I wasn't really collecting at the time, but I just remember uh, seeing the prices and being like, "Whoa, man, this thing's expensive." And they usually mark it up, for tourists and stuff that come by and really don't know, I guess, uh, the real retail price. Even Disneyland has a store now that has sideshow statues in it. So, but they're usually more than what they cost on the website.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. As we do come to an end, and I know I said this already, but this is seriously the last one, man. This is just a fun one. Have you ever been anywhere in public and somebody's like, "Yo, that's DT Tube"? Has that ever happened to you?
Uh, that happens a lot when when the four of us are together, and it's
Yeah,
usually at some like amusement park or something where there's a lot of kids and families.
yeah.
I did go to Comic Con um, not too long ago, and a couple of people recognized me there. So that kind of felt good that people know me from my channel, not the other
Not the
ones.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah, but it used to
that's
happen a
cool,
lot
man.
more when the kids were kids. Nowadays,
Yeah,
like, the people that used to watch us are old now, so they're too cool to
yeah.
associate
Dude,
with
I
us.
feel like if that ever happens to me, it'll be like the most awkwardest, weirdest scenario. Like I'll be in like freaking Walmart or something getting like bananas, and some guy will be like, "Yo, that's Cash the Gemini." Like, yo, man, I'm trying to weigh my bananas here. No, I'm just playing. No, it's all. I'm just playing, man. But that's cool, man. Dude, I've had a pleasure. It's crazy because like I was trying to get you on here a while back, no different than Chris Barton or David from DCX, and sometimes it doesn't always happen right away. It takes a little bit of time with like especially with you three, but it was a pleasure having you tonight.
Oh, it's my
You
pleasure.
know, yeah, yeah, definitely was cool, man. It's crazy to think like you have like you said you turned the with the CGCs from like was it a cellar? Is that right? A wine cellar?
Yeah, yeah, because I don't drink, and we have a little place for my wife's wine upstairs. So,
Okay,
when we bought this house, I was like, hey, I can make this thing into a comic book room. And
right.
yeah, it took me a couple years to do it, but I finally did it.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, yeah, dude. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I also want to say thank you to your wife for making an appearance. That was funny right there. So again, thank you and everybody out there in the chat. Appreciate all of you guys coming. I think I saw like 49 of you guys today. So thank all 49 of you, each and every one who came for a short bit or stayed the entire time. If anybody is interested on coming on the Cashing Out show, you can hit me up on this email and we can have a one-on-one. Doesn't matter if your collection is big or small. You have a YouTube channel. If you don't want to be on camera, we can also record you off camera. No big deal. We could put it up later. In June, we're actually doing for all the international collectors out there. I know time zones are a little bit different, so most of those, if not all of those, will be pre-recorded. I actually already have 2 of those already pre-recorded, just to be able to get the international collectors in there as well. Did a great one from a guy in Germany. His collection is really cool. Got to learn a lot about him. He's actually a music producer in his daytime job, so that was pretty cool getting to learn about that. And so anybody is more than welcome to come on, even if we have to do a pre-record. Just wanted to put it out there. And again, DT, thank you. And everybody out there, you guys have a good one. Cash out, baby.
Put some cash in your life. Put some cash in your life. If your cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life. Put some cash in your life.